And Channel Zero Butcher's Block comes to a conclusion. It's a bittersweet. It's been a great season, but that it's funny because I praise this show for being so short, because American Horror Story is too long. 13 episodes is just too much. 12, 13 episodes is just too much for horror, honestly. And I think 6 episodes is perfect. And when it leaves off like this, it leaves off making you going like, oh man, it's over. Like, oh, just like one more episode. But that's not how American Horror Story feels. Like you're getting to like 11, 10, and you're like, okay, there's how many more? Like a couple more? Okay, like I'm going to stick this out because I did the whole thing. I'm not saying that's the truth of all the seasons or anything, but it does get that fatigue. And I like that these are short, and I like that these make you want more. That's what it should do. You should walk out of this like, of course you should feel satisfied, but you shouldn't feel overwhelmed that there's another one, ever. So when it gets to the 6th episode, I guess more than anything, you're like, oh, it's only one more. Damn. All right. Fuck it. Like this is the conclusion. I'm just going to take it for what it is. And when it finishes, you can be like, all right, like that's it. I'm okay with it. I wish there was a little bit more, but we're good. Now let's get into the episode, as I rambled on about that way too long. This one, it's funny. I wasn't expecting this episode to be as straightforward as it was. Like it really pretty much tied up most everything. And spoilers, obviously, guys, right? Like this is a spoiler discussion. It says it right ahead, so I don't want to hear anything. I wasn't expecting, for one, such a happy ending. I mean, yes, Alice is in a mental institution with her mom, but she's with her mom. And that's kind of how this ends. Like, one family dies and a new family is born with, Zoe and the other characters, Luke and whatnot. And then another family is, I don't know if they've reconciled their differences, but at least they have been reconnected in order to possibly do so. So it's like the death of one family breaks off and spawns 2, families, one new and one old, and kind of hopefully being rekindled in some way, even though both of them are crazy at this point. And yeah, it was sad to watch that Alice really did just kind of fall straight to the dark side. She had a little bit of a redemption at the end, very minimal, but I kind of expected her not to come back. And the fact that she even lived at all was surprising to me. I don't know, like, if what we're seeing is true in her ending, because she was kind of just laid there on the ground after this god showed her his eternal whatever the hell's inside of this guy, what she saw in the doorway when she opened up the door in like episode 4 or something, episode 3, when she's looking for her sister. Shit, it could have been 2 for all I remember. I can't remember what episode that happened to. When Alice opened up one of those 3 doors that were out there in that field, what she saw in that god's chest when he opened it up is exactly what she saw when she opened that doorway. So I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure she's actually in the mental institution with her mom, because I don't think that her mother was dead. I just think she was committed, and that now they've been put together. So yeah, I don't know, which I just wasn't expecting this to be so clean. Like, everyone lives that we know, really, except for the bad guys. Like, all the bad guys die, all the good guys live, and the majority of them are like happy and have a new family. I don't know. For such a dark show, this was a very like cut and dry, happy ending, in my opinion. And it was unexpected. I'm not against it. I did enjoy the episode, and I love the season as a whole. I don't know. I was just expecting like a dark ending, and the Peach family to win the day, or them all to die, or some of them to die, or something. But that's just not what we got here. Almost to the point where I'm kind of excited because it's the one thing that I wasn't expecting. So, it's kind of surprising. Like, it's, yeah. So, all right, moving on. And yeah, I mean, Alice, she went full on like zombie cannibal on this. And now I just feel like the guy who was there and was like, we went to high school together or whatever. He was just a random person to kill, so she didn't have to kill her sister or, the landlord that she was renting the place from, or Luke or the kid, or like they just threw some random new person into the mix. And it's like, okay, that's kind of convenient for us to see her killing this guy so that we can see that she's completely embraced the dark side. She's ready to just eat people and give into this, and she's there to get the little girl back, bring her to this god, and be part of this family. Like, she is given into it fully. But yeah, the random guy, I don't know. It's fine, but I felt like it would be more impactful if it was one of the characters we really knew. And the guy with the sheet in his mouth, when they're trying to get the little girl back, and the little midget creature thing, and the guy with the sheet in his mouth, and it's all bloody and it's hanging down. They had some like CGI effect going on his face, and I just did not like it at all. I thought it looked terrible. It was taking me out of the moment, and I know it was supposed to be creepy, and I just didn't. It wasn't working for me, and I was kind of bumming out about it as it was happening. I was like, no, don't do this. Like, it's fine to have a little bit of that effect. Like, they used that on Joseph Peach's face for like a second. He like kind of like turned his head and like glimpsed that it was like a skull looking thing. That looked okay. And even the god, which is really the only real name we get for him, that I remember, his face is all CGI and moving around, but I don't know, it works better. I'm not in love with the way it looks, but I like it. The sheet mouth guy, I didn't like that at all. I don't know, it looked cheap. It took me out of it. And Scissor Lady comes back in this episode and plays a very substantial part. She's pretty much responsible for saving the little kid. And I liked that. I thought that was cool. I liked that she had a redemption. At first, she was just used as a creepy character, like this chick who had scissors and was cutting herself, and she was eerie. She was a creepy ass chick in the first, and in this, we just kind of like bring her back in. Yet again, though, like, would it have been more impactful if it was the landlord, the landlady? I think yes, because we know her more, and her character didn't get to really do anything in this episode. So while I did like that they made it Scissor Lady because it was unexpected, it would have made just as much sense and been more impactful if it was the landlady. She could have ran. She wasn't doing anything during that scene. She was just sitting there and watching what was going on and being like, Alice, no. But Luke could have done that. Or Luke could have went over and saved the kid. But as I said, Luke could have been the one who got his throat bit out, which would kind of been fucked up, though, because we had like a fake out death of him getting his throat slit, and then like an episode later, he gets his throat ripped out and killed again. So I don't know, but still, choices that were made here in the end, I have to say that I feel like they could have made it a little more emotional or something. And the body is exploding in slow motion and the blood splashing at itself and all that. It kind of reminded me of Kingsman at the end. Spoiler if you haven't seen Kingsman. I mean, if you haven't seen Kingsman, Secret Service, the first one, what the fuck are you doing with your life? It's amazing. But at the end, spoilers as I said, people's heads start exploding in slow motion, and it's like, it's awesome. It's fucking hilarious. Kind of reminded me of that. A little more grotesque, like the way they did it in Kingsman is to kind of hide and almost parody the gore and how insane that would be if it was just pure blood. But this one it's like red blood and it's coming out like fucking a tidal wave of blood, and they're like splashing against each other in slow mo. It looked great. Awesome choice. I loved that. And I'm not usually huge on slow motion in horror, especially. I'm not completely opposed to it. There's times when it serves its purpose and it works. But it really worked here, and I liked it a lot. And we find out that the meat monster is the only one of the Peach family, whatever the hell it is the only one still wandering out in the park. So where he'll end up, or if, I don't know. I don't know what his story will do. Obviously, this is over, so we'll probably never see him again. But, yeah, I mean, he didn't really do anything throughout the seasons. He just looked scary, but he wasn't killing people. He wasn't really guilty of anything, I guess. So who knows? Maybe he got trapped in there and he was a good one. He was like the one who didn't want to do anything. But he kind of was helping a little bit with taking that girl to sacrifice. But they all needed to do that so they wouldn't die. I actually thought that the pregnant girl, when she was giving birth, they were going to take her kid and give it to the god and be like, here, you want a kid? Take it. But that's not the way that went. But anyway, what'd you guys think? How was this ending for you? Was this satisfying? Were you disappointed? Do you agree with some of the things I said? All the things? You disagree? I always got to throw that in there at the end. Like, you hate me? You want to fucking punch me in the face? I'm so dramatic. Oh man, Channel Zero. Now, this has been renewed for a fourth season, so obviously I'm heavily looking forward to that, and I will be reviewing it on here, or discussing it, should I say. So until then, I guess Channel Zero has concluded. Click. That was terrible. All right.